this video out sooner before the tournament actually began, but unfortunately I was a little bit ill, so I didn't manage to do it. But I thought I might as well do it anyways, get my predictions out there, because yeah, I know the tournament has begun, and by the time you actually probably watch this, there's probably been a couple more games too. But actually, at the time of recording, there's only one game currently going on. So, and I mean, it's Inter Miami versus Al Ali. I'm not entirely sure if this is like the decider on the Club World Cup here. So, yeah. And look, if you're looking for my general thoughts on the Club World Cup, because I don't think I've actually spoken about this on the channel yet. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of it in terms of when it was originally proposed. I thought it's a bit of a cash grab, and I still think it is, and it's a little bit unnecessary, just more strain on players, right? But if you're a football fan, and purely from a football fan perspective, it's great fun, and I'm really excited for. I think hopefully we should see some good games. I really like seeing teams, from other countries playing European sides. It's refreshing. It's something nice. So yeah, I'll certainly be trying to catch some of the games. I'll cover. I'll probably do like a review of like the group stages and talk about some of the major key talking points as the tournament goes on. But for today, we're gonna do my prediction. I'm gonna predict the group stages, and then we're gonna predict the actual winner of the Club World Cup. So yeah. Now sadly, because it has kicked off, I missed a chance to do like the official bracket, so like it's a bit scuffed, but I'm basically going to be creating my own bracket here, so bear with me there. But I will be predicting my actual winner, so let me know your winner in the comments below. And I guess the games have begun by the time you've seen this, so let me know if you've watched any of the games and your thoughts on it. But let's go for it group by group and see what I predict. And of course, I'm not an expert on teams in like Tunisia, right? So take it with a grain of salt. But anyways, Group A, we have Al Ali, we have Inter Miami, we have FC Porto, and Palmeiras. So yeah, I actually think this is probably probably the most even group. Like, I don't think there's a clear, outstanding favourite in this group right now, because Porto are the European team, but Porto have actually had a really poor season in Portugal. They were miles off Benfica and Sporting. They were comfortably knocked out early on in the Europa League too. Yeah, they haven't had a great time, so this is a Porto team a couple years ago maybe, but this Porto side isn't in the greatest of form going into this. But then equally, Inter Miami and Al Ali also haven't had the best of form going into this. They haven't had great seasons themselves. Al Ali are from Egypt. They are the traditional sort of big dogs of African football, of Egyptian football. And again, a couple years ago, I think they won the African Champions League, but I think since then, like the last year or so, I do believe, obviously I'm not watching their games, but I've done some research and I believe they've sort of fallen off a little bit and struggled. Into Miami, on the other hand, now, what they do have is stars, which is something which these other clubs don't have. They of course have Lionel Messi, they have Suarez, they basically have half of the old Barca squad. But as a team, Inter Miami aren't a very good team. Like, they're not particularly dazzling in the MLS this season. Then they've struggled under Javier Mascherano, who is their current manager. But they do have that star power, which could just win them games on their own and get them out of the group. And then as for Palmeiras, now, they probably are going into this tournament out of these four teams on the best state, I would say. Like, Palmeiras, again, maybe they were slightly better a year ago when they had, Endrick, right? But they're coming into this having won the Brazilian league last year, and I think they're like top of the league right now. They're still a really good side, and they of course have Esteval, who as a Chelsea fan, I'm really excited to to see at this Club World Cup. It's really my first chance to properly witness him play. We've spent a lot of money on, and he'll be joining us in the summer, so we'll see what he can do. But you know what? I think this group is quite even. It's quite difficult to predict a winner here, but I'm actually gonna go for Palmeiras to top the group. I think they'll top the group. Maybe surprise a few people. I think they potentially could. Like I said, I think they may be going into this tournament of the better form. And they're a good team in Brazil. They have some really good young talented players. I think they're gonna do it. And in joining them, I would probably have to give it to Porto, because even if they haven't had the greatest of seasons, I just think overall they have more quality than Al Ahly and Inter Miami. So I would say those two go through, and then we'll go into Miami third and Al Ahly last. So yeah, bear with me here. I need to pop these in here. So my Group A winner here is Palmeiras. I don't really care about the spelling. I'm just gonna, I butchered the spelling, but oh well. You get the point. And then my Group A runners up are FC Porto. But I could see that swapping, but we're just gonna do that for now. Okay, on to Group B, we have Paris Saint-Germain, Atletico Madrid, Botafogo, and Seattle Sounders. Now this one is a lot more straightforward for me. I think I'll be pretty shocked if these two weren't the top two, Paris Saint-Germain and Atleti. Now what order the top two, that's maybe a little bit more up in the air, but I would be stunned if Botafogo or Seattle Sounders managed to make it out of this group, because hey look, Seattle Sounders, solid team in America, solid team in MLS, right? But I just don't think they're on the level of an Atleti or a PSG, who just have far superior quality in their sides. I think Seattle can, give them a game, they make them work for it for sure, but I don't see them beating either of these two sides. Botafogo, it's sort of a sad reality. I mentioned with the other clubs, if this was 2 years ago, oh wow, maybe Botafogo could actually have a chance of getting out of this, because a couple years ago they were the kings of Brazil. They had some fantastic players, but literally as soon as they won the league, their team got completely ripped apart. They lost all of their key players, and they're a real shadow of that title-winning team now. So I don't think they really have too much chance here. PSG and Atleti now, who tops the group. I mean, of course, PSG are the champions of Europe right now, so on paper they're the better team, but I mean, Atleti, on their day, they can beat a lot of teams, and in those big games can be a problem. And actually, I believe they did face in the league phase of the Champions League, and Atleti did beat them, although a very different PSG team. You know what, I think if PSG take it 100% seriously, if they completely try, they play their best team, I do think, just given how much they just dominated everyone in the Champions League, I think PSG will top it. They'll beat Atleti, or at least draw, and then just beat these guys by significance. So I have PSG topping it, Atleti seconds, and then in terms of third, I mean, I'll give it to Botafogo. Because even though their squad did get ripped apart, there is still some quality in that team. So PSG are my Group B winners, and the runners-up for Group B are Atletico Madrid. There we go. Okay, Group C, we have Bayern Munich, Auckland City, Boca Juniors, and Benfica. Now this is a pretty fun group. This, for me, is actually the most fun group, because you've got spots, and then like the smallest club in the competition. So obviously you got Bayern Munich, who are one of the biggest teams in Europe, but then you have Boca Juniors, who maybe outside of Europe could be the biggest team, like they're probably the biggest team in South America, right? They could be potentially the biggest team outside of Europe. And then you have Benfica, who again, respectively, are a big side. But then you have on the other side of the spectrum Auckland City, who are from New Zealand, and I believe literally some of their players are part-time, like they're not even professionals, some of their players, which is absolutely mental. But it poses an interesting storyline. It makes some really fun, interesting lineups. I will say this, as much as it would be great if Auckland managed to win a game, imagine they beat Bayern Munich, it's pretty simple. They're gonna finish fourth, right, unless like one of these other three teams just completely collapse. Yeah, thanks for participating. I'm sure it's gonna be a great experience for their players and fans, but you got no hope, I can't lie, you're finishing fourth. Bayern Munich, I think, fairly straightforward, also will finish first, unless they lose to Benfica or Boca. I don't see it happening. I think Bayern should be able to have enough to get past those two. I think they'll come out on top. Now, second spot is really interesting between Boca and Benfica. Now, Boca, I believe, are actually entering this tournament with a new manager. I think his first game will be in charge in this tournament, which is, I mean, a lot of pressure, right? But they still have some quality. They have Edison Cavani up top, which is pretty cool to see. Still going at his age. They also have, I believe, Franco Mastoronto. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he is a wonder kid who Real Madrid have purchased, but they've allowed him to play the Club World Cup with Boca and then will join Madrid after, so I'm excited to see how he does. And I think it's really going to come down to their game against Benfica. They did miss out on the league versus Sporting, but they went pretty deep all the way to the final day, and actually I thought were pretty solid in the Champions League too. So it's tough between these two, but for me, I do just think Benfica will come out on top here. So I'm going to go Bayern Munich first, Benfica second, Boca Juniors third, and Auckland City fourth. Yeah, it's tough, but I think Benfica will edge it there. So Benfica are my runners up, and my Group C winners are, of course, Bayern Munich. And by the way, I believe this is how it works, right? Where like the winner of Group A plays the runners up of Group B, and so on and so forth. So let's move on to Group D. So we have Flamengo, Esperance, Chelsea, and LAFC. Now this should be fairly simple top spots. I mean, if we do not top this group, I would be very, very embarrassed as a Chelsea fan, but we should be topping this group fairly comfortably. We've been given a quite comfortable and easy group, I would say, without disrespecting these clubs. With the money we've spent, we should be winning this, and I think we will win it. Then, you look at the Conference League, I think these teams were probably about the same level as the teams we faced in the Conference League, maybe a tad better, and we dealt with all of those teams fairly convincingly, so I think we should top this group, Chelsea, and I'm excited to see how Liam Delap does as well, because he'll be playing his first games in a Chelsea shirt at this competition. Now the second spot I think is very interesting. I think it's very much up for grabs between these three teams. I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know too much about all these three teams, particularly Esperance from Tunisia. I know LAFC do have a couple older guys from Europe, Olivier Giroud, former Chelsea player, Hugo Lloris as well. I guess their experience could potentially help, and LAFC qualified through because I think the original team got kicked Mexico. So LFC, a late entrant, that would be a great story. Late entrant into the tournament and getting through. But if I had to pick, I think I'll probably go Flamengo second. For me, probably have a little bit more quality in their team. I'll go Flamengo second, LAFC at third, and Esperance fourth. So my winner of, what is it, Group D? Yeah, Group D winner for me should and will be Chelsea. And the runners-up for Group D, I'm gonna go Flamengo, but I mean, I don't know. It could be any of the others. Group E, we have River Plate, we have the Urawa Red Diamonds, we have Monterrey and Inter Milan. And I just realised as well that when I was talking about Boca Juniors, Franco Mastroianni does not play for Boca, he plays for River Plate. Apologies. But anyways, this one is again a little bit straightforward. Who should be first? I mean, it should be Inter Milan, right? Inter Milan got to a Champions League final, right? So they should realistically win this, but don't be shocked if they don't, simply because they're entering this with a completely new manager. Inzaghi is gone. It's going to be Giroud's first ever game in charge. New manager for the first time in quite a while, actually, as well. They've also come off the back of a really grueling season. Went all the way to a Champions League final, went to the final day for the Serie A title, went to the semi-finals of the Coppa Italia, and of course got battered in the finals, so a bit of a demoralising one. So maybe it's not a foregone conclusion. I think River Plate could challenge them, but I think in the end Inter will get top spot. Second place, I think it's gotta be River Plate, right? Similar to Boca, again, one of the biggest clubs outside of Europe. And I just think Monterrey and Urawa Red Diamonds just do not possess enough quality in their sides to beat River Plate to second spot. So I think River Plate should get second place here. So I have Group E. Group E, my Group E runners-up are River Plate, and the winners for me will be Inter Milan. Where is it? Group E. There we go. Winner of Group E. We'll just put Inter. And on to Group F, we have Fluminense, Borussia Dortmund, Ulsan, and Mamelodi Sundowns. Again, I feel like Borussia Dortmund surely have to take first spot here, right? Like, Borussia Dortmund ended the season on such a high. They're coming into this on some really good form under Niko Kovac. Looks like he's really building something there. They even almost pulled off a crazy comeback versus Barcelona. Then they have some really good talent in their team. Of course, Job Bellingham, the brother of Jude, will be making his debut in this tournament, which will be interesting. Yeah, I think Dortmund's they've done really well under Kovac. I think they're going to continue that form into this tournament. I think they'll top this group. Now the second spot is really interesting. With all due respect, I don't think Ulsan are going to challenge for it. I think it's between Fluminense and Mamelodi Sundowns. And that is tough. That is tough because Mamelodi Sundowns have had a really good spell the last year or so. Really dominated South African football for the last few years now, and they did really well in the African Champions League. They have a lot of South Africans in their side, and South Africa did amazing at the last AFCON as well. Fluminense, doing pretty well in Brazil too. They have Thiago Silva in their team, which is really nice to see him playing. Absolutely love him, one of my favourite Chelsea players. But Fluminense or Mamelodi Sundowns, you know what? I think this could be where maybe there's a little bit of a shock. I think Mamelodi Sundowns could surprise a few. I'm going to go Dortmund first, Mamelodi Sundowns second, and I'm going to say Fluminense third and Ulsan fourth. City, we have Wydad, we have Al Ain, and we have Juventus. One of the more straightforward groups. It's surely gonna be Manchester City and Juventus going through in this group. Again, with all due respect to these two sides, I don't know too much about them. Maybe they could pull off a shock, but surely with the money these two have put into their squads, they have to be the top two. Now who comes out on top there is kind of like PSG Atleti group. It's going to be interesting, I'm not sure. Again, both these sides actually played each other, City and Juventus, in the Champions League. Juventus won that, but again, it's a very different scenario because Juventus are now managed under Igor Tudor, who has extended his contract and will be staying at the club. And Man City, I think, have improved since then. So, yeah, Man City have made some new transfers. Rain Shirky, Linders, and Nate Nuri are in the squad and will be used in this tournament. So, excited to see how they do in a Man City shirt. I do think City will top the group ahead of Juve. I think they'll probably beat them. So I have City in first, Juve second, and then out of these two will go Al Ain third, I guess. But yeah, surely it's got to be Man City and Juve first and seconds. So Group this G, right? Yeah, okay. Group G winner is Man City. Man City. Bosh. And then the runner-up of Group G is Juventus. Juventus. Bang. There we go. Alright, and finally, Group H, we have Real Madrid, Al Hilal, Pachuca, and Salzburg. Right, so first and foremost, Real Madrid should be getting 9 from 9 here. 3 wins for free. No question about if they should be. I think they've been nice in this tournament with a really comfortable group for them. I am really intrigued though what happens with Madrid. They're one of the teams where I generally do want to watch them because I'm intrigued about how Xabi Alonso is going to set them up. I'm intrigued how Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to fill in. I'm intrigued how Dean Howson is going to fill in. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts at Real Madrid, but even with a new manager and new players, I think that they should still win this group comfortably. Now second place is very much up for grabs here because Salzburg have had a disastrous season in Europe. And are not going into this on good form. Pachuca in Mexico have been pretty decent to be fair, but Al Hilal, obviously the Saudi League, they've done pretty well and they have the better quality, and actually it's pretty interesting because they are managed by Inzaghi, who this will be his first game in charge. How much he has done for this team I don't know, but I mean he's very experienced in these knockout competitions and big games, so they possess some big players like Cancelo, I think Mitrovic, Malcolm, Koulibaly play for them, so I reckon Al Hilal will get it. I think Madrid will come first, Al Hilal second, Pachuca third, Salzburg last. Alright, so Madrid are there, and then my runners up are Al Hilal. Okay, there we go. So that is a bracket done. Now let's save and we begin the tournament. So I believe this is what the seeding is going to be like. So the lineups we will have is Palmeiras vs Mamelodi Sundowns, Bayern Munich vs Flamengo, Inter vs Man City, Porto vs Al Hilal, PSG vs Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea vs Benfica, Real Madrid vs Juventus, and Atletico Madrid vs River Plate. So some good matchups here. Palmeiras vs Mamelodi Sundowns, the first one. Yeah, this is interesting. This is an interesting matchup. I reckon I'll go for Palmeiras. I think Palmeiras will win. I'm not going to do the score, but I'm just going to say the winner. Palmeiras by Bayern Munich versus Flamengo. Surely Bayern Munich should be winning that one. Inter Man City. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. If Inzaghi was still in charge, I would actually probably go Inter, but I think with a new manager in charge, it's a little bit of a bit too much of an ask for them to knock out Man City. I think Man City will beat them now. Porto vs Al Hilal. I mean, this, honestly, Al Hilal, I think potentially could do them here. They could do them. You know what? I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm saying they beat Porto. PSG, Dortmund. Look, I honestly think Dortmund's. I don't know. It's really hard to gauge like how seriously a club is taking it, how good a team they're gonna field and stuff like that. I don't know what sort of PSG team this is gonna be. They've had a long crawling season going all the way to Champions League final, all the way in all three competitions. Dortmund, they looked pretty good. I wouldn't be shocked if Dortmund beat them. But just to play it safe, I still have to back PSG because I think even if they're not at their best, they can still beat Dortmund. Chelsea, Benfica. Okay, this is a pretty fun lineup. I think it's a pretty fun lineup. I mean, Benfica did pretty well in the Champions League, right? They gave Barcelona a pretty good game of it. But I've got to back the boys, right? I think we can beat Benfica. I think it'll be a close game, but I think we'll beat Benfica. Real Madrid versus Juventus. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Juve won that simply because of what I mentioned with Real Madrid still adjusting to a new manager and new system. But I think this isn't a great Juve team, and I think the quality will shine through for Real Madrid. And Atletico Madrid versus River Plate. A really fun lineup that. Diego Simeone versus the Argentinian club. I don't know if he played for River or something, but Julian Alvarez against his former club. I'll go Atleti. I think they have enough quality. So quarterfinals, Palmeiras versus Bayern Munich. Yeah, it's got to be Bayern. I think Palmeiras. Their spell here is going to end at the quarters. Man City versus Al Hilal. I mean, yeah, it's got to be Manchester City, right? It's got to be Man City. Oh boy, PSG versus Chelsea. I really hope my bracket is wrong here because, gosh, I mean, we've seen what PSG have done to English teams. If Arsenal couldn't beat them, if Liverpool couldn't beat them, if Villa couldn't beat them, I don't think we're beating them. So yeah, sadly, I think if we meet PSG in the quarters, PSG will knock us out. But I am excited as a Chelsea fan to sort of see how we do against a team like PSG. And Real Madrid does Atletico Madrid. I mean, when it comes to knockout football, Real Madrid somehow, someway always seem to get past Atleti. They knocked them out in the Champions League. This could be a good chance for Atleti considering they're under a new manager. But I mean, there's just some sort of juju there. Real Madrid will win. Okay, so the semi-finals are Bayern Munich versus Man City and PSG versus Real Madrid for me, which are two bangers, by the way. Bayern Munich, Man City, I mean, that's really fun. Vincent Kompany managing against Manchester City. It's tough, but you know what? I think I'm actually going to go for Bayern Munich. I think Man City, even though they improved at the back end of last season, they've still got issues there, right? Like they did lose that FA Cup final to Crystal Palace, and I still don't think they're back to where they once were. I think they're getting on the path, but I don't think they're there yet. And I think if they come up against a team like a Bayern Munich, yeah, I think they're not quite ready for that, and if Bayern Munich will beat them there. Now PSG versus Real Madrid, I mean, I really hope this happens because this will be an absolute banger. Yeah, this is interesting. I'm gonna have to go PSG because, look, I think Real Madrid can beat PSG, but I think it would be a bit of an arse for Xabi Alonso to just come in straight away and beat the champions of Europe, right? I mean, I would be shocked if comes in and just knocks out the champions of Europe at the Club World Cup like that, then fair play. But I just think that's a little bit of an ask for him. So here we go. The final for me, I have Bayern Munich versus PSG in the Club World Cup final. And oh gosh, it's tough. It's tough. Wow. I mean, on paper, PSG should win this, right? But I feel like it's really boring if I just go PSG. Like, it's such a cop-out. Bayern Munich, Thomas Müller, it's his last appearance in a Bayern shirt. Go out the bang. Even though I don't even rate Company, I don't even rate that Bayern team that highly this season. I do think they're really talented, and with Kane there, Lise, like some Müller, I'm pretty sure they're going all in. Jonathan Tah has signed and joined. You know what? Just to not be boring, I'm not going to go PSG. I'm going to say Bayern Munich are my Club World Cup champions. There we go. But yeah, those were my predictions. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. And if you guys have enjoyed it, please do leave a like, consider subscribing.